And we are live. Now, Gaurav Arora is an incredible focus mastery coach. Now, have you ever wondered the impact of Corona in the economy ahead? Have you been wondering the impact of COVID 19 on India? Are you able to focus, or are you like the rest of us that loses focus sometimes? How are we going to revive the economy in the coming days, and how do we deal with negativity at this time? To tell us more on this topic, welcome today's guest, Gaurav Arora. Gaurav, so nice to have you on Seekh Talks. Great to have you
Thank you,
here.
Gulraj. Thank you for calling me. It's a pleasure to be here with you, and it's a pleasure to be here with the Stick Talks. It's a great pleasure. Thank you.
Good. So I'm Gulraj Singh Shahpuri. I'm a business turnaround coach, and I'm proud to be hosting Seekh Talks today. Now, Seekh Talks is an initiative by the Sikh Chamber of Commerce and Samir Singh. It's a new age platform for the digital generation, which is mostly focused on online talks. So once again, today we're fortunate enough to have Gaurav Arora here. Now, let me tell you a little bit about him because if you talk to business owners in Delhi regarding your challenges, and especially those challenges that have to do with focus, then there's a high chance that they're going to refer you to Gaurav Arora. Now, he's the founder of the Focus Mastery Training and India's only Focus Mastery coach. He's one of Delhi's youngest and finest and fastest growing coaches, from what I know. And he started at, I think, Gaurav, you started at the age of 22, I believe, right?
Yeah, I started at the age of
At the
22.
age of 22. And he has now an experience of, I think, around 6 years. Now, in the last 2 years, I know, Gaurav, that I got this from your website that you have trained over 1,500 plus business owners who have attended your live workshops, events, and things like this. And these are some big people. I've seen names including Jatin Mahajan of the J Mitra Group, Rahat Bhartiya of the Raga Group, Manjeet Sani of Paramount Instruments, and Siddharth Gandhi of Auto Farm. They basically make all the car seat covers that anybody has ever seen. So once again, welcome Gaurav. Thanks for taking your valuable time to be here. And also our viewers, thank you for taking your valuable time. You're going to get a lot of learnings in today's session, and we hope you're going to walk away with a game plan of what to do post COVID. Because today you're going to hear about the impact that Corona is going to have on our economy ahead. We're going to have a very forward-looking session today. You're going to see how to revive your business in the coming economy. Also, you're going to know about the impacts of COVID 19 on India as a country and on your business. And then you're going to learn how to focus on in these times and how to deal with negativity at this time. And do stay till the end because Gaurav is going to share some bonus takeaways right at the end. Okay, so right before we get started, Gaurav, I'm going to tell everybody the rules of engagement, and they're pretty simple. Viewers,
Okay.
we are here for 45 minutes together, and we are going to do our best to give you some hard hitting thoughts and ideas and solutions and the best of the secrets that the billionaires don't want you to know. And but you're going to have to do your job by dropping in as many comments as you can in the form of questions if possible. Ask a lot of questions. If I'm going to bring Gaurav to a point where a question of yours is relevant, I'll throw it on the screen and we'll pin him down. Otherwise, we'll take your questions. All the other questions, we'll take them right at the end. So once again, Gaurav, thanks for being here, and let's get started. Now, I've been talking to a lot of business
Let's
owners.
start, Gulraj.
Let's get started. So I've been talking to a lot of business owners, and people are worried. People are worried that in the current scenario, they don't know how the situation is going to be. I really want you to weigh in on this one. How are things going to unfold after the lockdown?
See, Gulraj, I'll tell you exact thing which is going to happen after lockdown. So let's talk about the current situation. Right now, business people are sitting on a negative cash flows. They are paying their salaries and maybe the inflow is not coming. They are taking care of their personal expenses. So inflow is negative, but it is not that negative because maybe the expenses from 100 have come down to 20. But as soon as the lockdown will open, this negative cash flows will increase. So consider, if someone is on a negative cash flow, or say 10 lakh a month, that might increase to 30 lakh or 40 lakh a month. So negative cash flows is the biggest challenge which will be coming to the business owners. That's what
Yes.
I see.
Well, I've actually
And that,
I've been seeing some very scared people. Just about a week ago, I had a talk. I was actually invited to a Zoom group, and I've been invited a couple of times over the last week. And various business owners are talking about some very scary situations now, especially people who are in hospitality. Do you agree with me? Hospitality, like tourism, photography, restaurants. these businesses are going to be in some deep, deep trouble, or is this just their fears?
No, Gulraj, I'll not say that it is only their fears because right now there will be a huge impact on some businesses, and especially if I'll talk about the tourism department. So, for example, if someone was, planning a wedding outside India, might be,
Yeah.
at this point of time, he will definitely marry, but he will not marry outside India. So, I'll not say that there will be no impact. There will definitely be impact on few businesses.
Now, we're talking in the short term or the long term scenario, because you shared a moment ago the short term scenario. What is the long
See,
term impact on these businesses, and how is government going to step in to help us out?
okay, so I'll tell you, Gulraj, that there is a challenge in the short term, but in the long term, it is going to be a very, very beautiful situation. And I'll give you a very beautiful example of this. So let's talk about the US crisis of 2008. In
Yeah,
2008, the value of the dollar was around 40 rupees.
yeah,
But right now, the value of the dollar is 76 rupees. So in 2008, there is a crisis which happened at a US level, and there were job cuts were happening. Lehman Brothers, the sixth largest investment bank of US, just imagine that Axis Bank, if Axis Bank declared itself bankrupt, it will be a
yeah,
big trouble. So Lehman declared itself bankrupt, and it was a big trouble for the US. There were job cuts happening like anything. But during that moment, government reduces the interest rate. The interest which a government was charging from a bank was almost nil. And
yeah.
that too, a lot of cash in the economy at a very low interest rate. Now, when the cash circulation get increased in the economy, the demand gets increased in the economy. So it takes a
Absolutely.
time. It cannot happen in just 2 or 3 months, but in the long term, it will going to turn positive for the businessman and for the economy.
Now, viewers also throw in your questions, because I have a ton of questions I'm going to be asking Gaurav. But I throw
Okay.
any question at him. I think he looks like a person who's pretty prepared. So don't you worry. So
Yeah, thank
keep putting
you.
your questions on the side. Achha. Now, Gaurav, let's talk about government, because that's the question I was asking you. Government has been a roadblock many times, and I'll be frank with you. Uh, when the premier of Singapore came to India many years ago, he said that in India it seems to be that the government, the babus in the government, not the lawmakers but the implementers, the people in the services, they seem to be roadblocks for industry. They are not enablers. He said in Singapore we are enablers. We help businesses and we help them find a way and we help them navigate. यहाँ वो चीज़ नहीं है. And it has not been here. And I'm not talking about the isolated incidents. I'm talking generally. And in India, what we've had, in spite of that, we've had a very resilient set of businesses. I remember there was a book by Gurcharan Das. I think I read it maybe 20, 25 years ago. And he said that businesses in India, it's like they're like working with one hand tied behind their back. Poor government policy, roads, सड़कें, पानी, बिजली हमारे पास नहीं है, and still lakhs of businesses, small businesses, I mean, are flourishing in India. It's like we work with one hand tied behind our backs. Do you think the government
Okay.
is going to help us untie that other hand?
Okay, so Gulraj, I'll give you, the clarity on this on a very short note and a very clear and crisp clarity on this. I'll tell you something. When you have a choice, you go as per your own will and as per your own comfort. But when you do not have a choice, then you go as per the need. So, for
Yeah,
example, if the government right now will not support, what will happen? Consider, someone is employing 100 people in a factory and they give a job cut to 50 people, he will still maintain the factory. He will still be able to maintain himself because he is a businessman. But there will job cut which will be happening in the economy, and that is the tension for the government. So at this point of time, government do not have a choice. Government
yeah,
have a need to support the businessman because without supporting businessman, you cannot, take the economy to the next level. So I
yeah.
believe that, yeah, right now the government have to work in our favor. They do not have an option of that.
Okay, so up सीधे हो जाएंगे. अच्छा, now we have a question coming offline on WhatsApp here. Let me just read it out. Give me a second here. It says, this says, Gaurav, give us any one powerful thought that people can always keep in mind when they're feeling low like this.
Okay, so when they're feeling low like this, I'll tell you a very good, powerful thought at this point of time
Yeah,
that, my mother always used to tell me कि गौरव जो होता है ना जिंदगी में वो अच्छे के लिए होता है. And
yeah,
I'll tell you, couple of incidences from my life. When I was a childhood, I was standing in a group and one of the seniors came from behind and he
yeah.
pulled my shot. Literally, he pulled my shot. And,
Oh,
everyone was laughing in the group and I was the only one who was crying. And at that moment, I felt very weak. I thought, they can always bully me, they can always beat me, and I can never do nothing. And I actually want to become strong in life. So that negative situation which happened in my life created a strong need in me to become strong in life. So I always say to people that nothing is happening to you. That incident was not happening to me,
yes.
but everything is happening for you. So at this point of time, to remain positive and to keep control, keep telling yourself that nothing is happening to you. Everything happens for you.
Okay, good. Okay, that's one. Give us another. Give us another tip.
So give us the another one of on this situation.
Another powerful
So
thought. एक से काम नहीं
another
चलेगा.
powerful thought. अच्छा एक से काम नहीं चलेगा ठीक है. I'll give you another powerful thought, and this thought is something which is very close to my heart, and and I repeat this thought like maybe 30 times or 50 times in a month. I say it to my clients, I say it to my team, I say it to myself, and you might have heard this thought, but listen it very carefully that the one who sweat more in practice is the one who bleeds less in the war. And I'm saying it again, one who sweat more in the practice bleeds less in the war. What I've seen that there are many people at this point of time who are spending a lot of time on Netflix or on Amazon Prime or on searching on Google, wasting their time.
Yes.
To be very frank, I might sound negative to you, but you are going to suffer if you are one of them. And this is to the viewers. And but if you are the one who is dedicated and who is utilizing, who is sweating by sharpening the skill, who is sweating by talking to each and every client with
Yes.
whom you did business and with whom you are doing business, and you are talking to each and every vendor to make your, to make your services strong, then your business will going to the next level. So sweat more so that you don't bleed in the war.
That's a very good point. And in fact, I have seen people are getting wildly addicted right now to Netflix and Amazon Prime, Hotstar, and all these other things. And people are in my own friend group. They're sharing with each other. Okay, ये वाला show शुरू करो, ये वाला show शुरू करो. And I keep wondering कि हमारे पास तो time नहीं है. Now it's not all work. I mean, everybody has a bucket list of things that they wanted to do. Writing a book, se leke, all sorts of things. I mean, I have a bookshelf back here. I've read only a third of the books. I have two-thirds of the books to read. There's so many other things. And people have been saying all their lives that, oh, I wish I had time. I wish I had time. I would do things. I wish I had time. I think this is going to be the litmus test. कि अगर अब time नहीं है ना, and if people come out of this lockdown without having done a lot of the things on their lists, I think it's not a time. I think it's not a time nahi hai problem. It's a problem that they just never had that in them to do. So I think this is
That
going
is
to be a lot of soul searching for people. कि अब बहाने खत्म हो गए हैं, and now comes the reality. All right, so let's talk about something more uplifting. Our opportunity is going to come to India because the world is looking and frowning at China. China has been always everybody's supermarket. Okay, the
yeah.
cheapest goods come from China. They have scale. They have all sorts of things. Is India going to be finally on the map as at least number two? Because China से अगर कोई business shift होना है तो हमारे पास ही आना चाहिए ना. Do you think that's going to happen, or am I just a देश भगत?
No, sir, that's not only about being a Desh Bhagat, because I believe that this is something which is definitely going to happen. Because, right now, let's talk about Japan. What Japan did, just a few days back, Japan told to the companies that I'm giving you a bailout, come out from the China. And if a Japan government is telling something to the people, their people follow like anything. So, I
Yes,
believe that Japan need to shift. Now, when the Japan is making a shift, they have an option like Bangladesh, they have an option like India. Now, the question is why India? See, we
yeah,
have 130 crore plus people. Okay. So if they are doing a manufacturing setup here, they require the help of other manufacturers to put them the supply. To have all different kind of manufacturers, to have that creativity, to have that engineering, and to have that labor, everything comes in India. And I believe India will be the best opportunity for them to invest right now.
absolutely. But
So
India,
I
ka,
believe that.
India, ka, let's talk about India's dividend, India's technical advantage. Now, for this, I'm going to give you a story, and I don't think you might. You're very young, so I know you're much younger than me, so you might not have heard about this. But shed some light on it. जब World War II खत्म हुई थी ना, Japan lost more members of their male population than any other country in the whole world. They lost
Okay.
more percentage of their male population. Now they were in a complete shamble. They had to rebuild the country and they had to become strong economically. So the business people and the government they all got together, created forums. जैसे हमारे इंडिया में FICCI है, NCII है. They created forums like this, and they figured out that what, we have a technical advantage in creating textiles, and because Japan has no raw materials. Japan still did not have raw materials at this time. They said we have a
Okay.
technical advantage in creating textiles. So what Japan did was, with the help of the government, industry became number one in that decade. In the 50s, Japan became the number one exporter of textiles because textiles did not always need to be imported because they started creating synthetics in Japan. And that's when they boomed. In the 60s, they set a goal that we are going to become the number one steel exporter of the world. And of the world, that was a big deal. Now, देखो बात कितनी बड़ी है because they had to import all the raw material. They had no raw material. And then produce the stuff cheaper than anybody else and ship it farther than anybody else. And they had to do this all in a decade and they became number one in the 60s. In the 70s, Japan set a goal that we are going to become the number one auto country of the world. They missed it by 1 year. In 1980, Honda and Toyota put together so many cars that they took the lead over America. Other companies were there as well, and they
Oh,
became number one. Now, India में वो क्या advantage है हमारे पास that will put us to number one? See, government की कोई guarantee नहीं है.
okay.
लोग इतने पढ़े लिखे हमारे हैं नहीं, unfortunately, but we have raw labor, no doubt. Companies
Okay.
Act, हमारा जो Factories Act is very unfavorable to businesses. What advantages does India have?
Okay, so Gulraj, I'll tell you the clear advantage right now which India will be getting. See, generally there are two situations. In the first situation, consider that there is a very smart person and a very hardworking person, but this person is not getting the opportunity. He needs to put a lot of effort to get the opportunity, and but still it is very troublesome to get the opportunity. So it takes more efforts, and a person get a less result. But there is a second circumstances in which a person has a is normally smart, is a normal hardworking, but there's a lot of opportunities, because
Yeah,
when people are living in China, they need to shift to India. India is the best second option, and the whole world knows that. So
right.
might be we are not that smart, and we are not on that level, but the opportunities are big. So I believe that by putting the less effort, we are going to get a more result. That's the first thought. And second thought, I'll also tell you, Gulraj, when factories are shut and business people are not working, and see, there is something deep which is happening right now in India. And believe me,
Yeah,
this is something which is happening, and this is very, very deep. I'll give you an example from my point of view. So right now, I'm spending 1.5 to 2 hours daily in writing my journal. And
magic.
the passion which I'm feeling right now, I have never felt that. No, I'm not the
Right.
only one who is doing this in India. Tata is also doing, Birla is also doing, Ambani is also doing, and there are many great business owners who are doing this. Now, this deep work which is happening right now is not visible. But when
Magic.
an opportunities come, it doesn't come to the people who are just sitting and not doing anything, and who are not worth of working on that opportunities. Opportunities comes to the smartest people. Consider that big opportunities are coming, they will come to the people who are smart and who have the resources. So they will
Yeah,
be able to grab the opportunities because they are getting prepared. So consider, if someone is doing a 1,000 crore business is chemical in chemicals, and he knows
yeah,
that some business can come to India. So at this point of time, factory is shut. What he is doing, he's preparing on the research. He's preparing on how to get that opportunities, that will be of a great help in the company.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Sorry,
I think
Gulraj.
we'll just switch views for a moment here. Uh,
Yeah,
I
extremely
think
sorry, Gulraj. I'm in.
Gaurav's hand, I think, got tangled with the earphone wire. Happened to me too, so I stopped using it. I
Yeah,
stole my daughter's
yeah, I
MacBook.
got tangled with the earphone wire. Extremely sorry.
Okay, now uh,
Yeah.
I want to press on this point a little more. हम सब तो ठीक हो जाएंगे. Let's talk again about the government. Now, in the ease of you doing business, in the World Index of Ease of Doing Business, ठीक है, India cracked the top 100 finally in 2017. Okay. In 2018, India was, I think, at number 77. I might have my numbers wrong. And in 2019, if I remember, I think we were around in the 60s, 61 or 62 or 63. That's not good enough. Because
Okay.
how will that attract the world to come and do business here in India, and how will that teach us how to react quickly? अगर हमारे यहाँ business करना ही इतना मुश्किल है, when are we? हम कब हमारा कब number top 10 आएगा? When do you think India will get to top 10? Government
Gulraj, okay, so Gulraj, I believe, coming to top 10 will not be that easy for India. And that's something which might not be practical for India, because see, we need to understand that, we are living in a population of 130 crore people. And, there is a big democracy. There are number of religions in the economy. Our
yes,
economy is complex compared to the other economy, and that is one reason that there is no ease of doing a business in the India, because the economy is huge. There are
yes,
different states, different religion. So whenever there is a complexity in the economy, there is less ease of doing business. So consider, if there is some economy and they have a 1 crore or 2 crore people, it will be easy to do the business. In terms
yes,
of the calculation, it will be easy. Their government is more open and their government is more welcoming. But then, if you will see, their GDP is not bigger than us. When it comes to the GDP, our GDP is bigger than us, which means if you talk on, whether the ease is there or not, we might be coming below 100. But if we
yes,
will talk about the quantity, we are one of the world's top 10 economy. So the
yeah,
business go to the person who have the resources. Business do not go to the person who does not have a resource. We have the resources, and that will give us the business, I believe.
okay. Now let's switch gears a little bit. When do you think this lockdown is going to open? Just a simple
Okay.
question. बहुत लोग आपको
See,
पूछ रहे हैं, एक दूसरे को पूछ रहे हैं, आपकी क्या राय है?
See, Gulraj, I'll tell you actually that, so first of all, it's of course depend on the, number of cases which will come. But we need to understand as an Indians that, we are a population of 130 crore plus. So I
Yeah,
believe we cannot even take a risk of 1% in India. And I'm saying it again. We cannot take a risk of even 1% in India. So
right.
I believe at any case, it will not going to, open a third May. Let's be prepared for that. That's the first thing. And will it take a longer time in India to open up? Yes. But
Yeah,
will it make the situation worse? No. In order to keep the situation is in control, it's very important to be proactive. And I believe that's what Indian government is doing. They declared lockdown when we were only at 500 cases. So I believe the government will remain proactive and they will open it late and it will happen step by step.
it will happen step by step, no doubt, because I believe I've heard news that, and I one of my go-to sources for great information is The Economist magazine. And I mentioned this even yesterday. The Economist has a very pessimistic view on when the world will open. And government to अपने तरफ से खोल देगी, but there's going to be a lot of social distancing that's going to happen for a long time. Now, let's talk about in that sense, because social distancing is going to have a lot of impact on certain businesses. I believe restaurants, tourism for casual use, and even business tourism for that matter, इन चीजों पर बहुत लंबा इफेक्ट पड़ने वाला है. When do you
Okay.
think? What is your best guess when these businesses will start to flourish again, or will they ever flourish?
Gurad, that will be a very difficult to guess because that totally depends on how the economy will unfold, how the consumers will respond, and in which business you are. So I'll give you a few examples. So let's
Yeah,
talk about a restaurant business. I believe as soon as the lockdown will open, even if there is a social distancing And if a restaurant is open, people will start running to it. First thing. Second thing, even if they are not running to the restaurant, there will be a huge demand on Zomato. There will be a huge demand, on the other application because we are craving for the outside food. And, I generally do not eat outside food, but I'm also craving at this point of time.
हाँ
So
जी.
I believe that, there will be a change in this scenario. The business respond and the businesses works. The
Yeah.
demand will shift and the business will respond in a different way, but the business will come to the right platform in a restaurant industry, first industry.
Yeah.
Second industry, let's talk about the wedding industry. See,
Yeah.
wedding
Weddings की
industry,
बात करते हैं.
wedding is very important industry.
Yeah.
In wedding industry, we might be saying that situation will be negative and there will be a pressure. See, to a certain extent, of course, there will be a pressure. But if I talk about November, December, and January, see, if lockdown will get open by July, see, no one is going to do their wedding outside the country. And when it comes to spending money on the wedding, people who want to spend lakhs or who want to spend crores in wedding, they already have that money. They are not going to save that money in 3 or 4 years. And you know that in India there are people who take loan and spend money on wedding. So the one who is going to spend money is going to spend money. But the positive thing which will happen is that the wedding which happen outside India, that
हाँ
will
जी.
not happen because
Okay,
people
so
don't want to take a
wedding
risk.
की वो चीजें कम हो जाएंगी. But let's talk about आदतें लोगों की, because we can say कि देखो restaurants जाने के लिए लोग उतावले हैं. But look at people like me. My favorite food, if people don't know, is veg American chop suey. ठीक है?
Okay.
चाइना में कभी किसी ने देखी नहीं ये चीज. It's an Indian dish. It's an Indo-Chinese dish. मैंने खुद बनानी सीख ली. A lot of people, एक joke थी थोड़े दिन पहले मैंने वो देखी थी WhatsApp में कि a lot of people are going to now be, so it just showed कि master chef के ना trials के long
Okay.
lineup है master chef के अब सारे घर बैठे
Yeah.
बैठे they become chefs.
हाँ.
People are, but all jokes aside, people are adapting to do with less. मेरे घर आजकल Amazon का रोज पैकेज नहीं आ रहा. Every day there was an Amazon package and I used to feel very excited. Oh, आज देखेंगे जैसे it's like a birthday gift every single day. Happy birthday to me. I haven't gotten a single Amazon package. अब chemist से कोई दवाई आती है तो वही बड़ी बड़ी बात होती है. But I think people's habits are changing, and I do you think we're going to go back to who we were ever, or do you think we are going to remain a little bit changed forever?
See, I'll tell you a very powerful thing about habits, that environment is more powerful than willpower.
Ah,
Okay. Right now, we are in a different environment, so we are forming a different habits.
yeah,
But once the environment will get changed, there will be only a certain number of people who will be able to keep up with the good habits. Because
yeah,
consider that right now I'm getting a time, and I'm spending some time in cooking and I'm loving it. And I literally did that. That is
yeah,
something which is unusual. I've never done that. But as soon as the environment will get changed, I'll start going to my office, there will be meetings, there will be work. I'll definitely not going to cook at any cost, because I know that environment will keep me more focused on earning money and on profits and on
yeah.
developing the business, giving value to the client. So then I'll of course not doing the cooking. So there will be a major change in the people after the environment will get changed.
Now, are you a sports fan of cricket?
Yeah, I
देखते हैं?
love to. Yeah, I love to. Run. I love running.
Okay, good. You love running. So Simranjeet has a question that if we talk about the sports industry, IPL and other cricketing action, can it give a kickstart to our economy?
See, it will definitely give a kickstart to our economy. So, kickstart simply means it will give a kick and the economy will start. That's what the meaning of a kickstart. See,
Right.
if the economy is in line after 6 months or after 8 months, and a match is happening, say between India or Pakistan, or an IPL match is happening, who will not go, Gulraj? We are missing the life. 1 month into the lockdown, 2 months into a lockdown, we are actually missing the life. We are missing our friends, we are missing the restaurants, we are missing the beautiful places where we need to visit. So I believe that demand will be on the next level, because right now when people are sitting, especially people who are getting salaries, they are
Yeah.
saving it. And because they are saving it, they will go out and they will spend it.
Now एक चीज बताओ, because I know salaries कई लोगों को मिल रही हैं. Some people are getting fired right now. Some people are going to actually be very careful about where they spend, because a lot of people are getting less than what they used to before. Businesses have told people कि देखिए आपको 25% luxury spending आपकी कम हो गई है कि you come to work, you're no longer coming to work, so आपका बाहर खाना ये चीजें वो चीजें petrol expenses have come down. Businesses are paying anywhere less between 25 and 50% to a lot of employees. But Charles Darwin said that in the long term, it is not the strong who will survive, and it is not those species that are the most in number that will survive. It is the most adaptable that will survive. Give us some tips on adaptability.
Okay, so see, Gulraj, on adaptability, I'll give you clear step-by-step procedure, which can help you to adapt the situation very well.
Should
The
we write this
first
down?
thing, yeah,
Should we-
definitely write it down. And believe me, it is worth rupees lakhs. If I'm training someone on this point, I will charge a lakh rupee, not less than that in this situation. So that's
Okay.
definitely worth. So the
चलो तो
first
एक
thing
लाख
which
रुपए की
we
advice बताएं.
Okay, thank you. So the first thing you need to get is that you need to get out of your mind, because if you're thinking that you can become adaptable inside the mind, your short-term memory is only of 3 to 4 minutes. You cannot do that. That's practically not possible. So
Okay.
the first thing which you need to do is that you need to get out of the mind and you need to get it on the paper. That's the first step.
Okay. So write it down.
Yeah, that's a step one. Now, in the second step, you need to write down and make a list of the challenges which you will be facing which you are facing in the present, and the challenges which will be coming in the future.
Yes.
And you need to be proactive, because see, if you know the challenges in advance, you can prepare in advance. Okay, so
Yes.
consider that we are traveling to a place and we know that we will not get a petrol pump. What we will do? We will carry an extra petrol with us. But
Yes.
consider, I did a mistake of not being proactive. I went to the travel and suddenly, I didn't get a petrol pump. Then it will be a challenge for me. So first, so in the second step, write down the challenges, whether it's a financial challenge, it's a demand by the consumer. So any challenge which is coming in your life, that's
Yes.
the second thing where you need to focus. Focus, write down the challenges. Step three, be ready with your proactive plan. See, you need to have
Be
some
ready with
plan.
the
And
proactive plan. That is brilliant.
be
That is
ready
good.
with a proactive plan. See, you cannot solve a problem in the mind. You need to first solve the problem on the paper, and then you
Yes.
solve the problem in the reality. You know. So if on the paper you will see the situation in detail and you will prepare more, and consider that situation doesn't become worse than that. So I'll ask you, think about the worst which you can think,
And
and then get prepared for that. So if you will think about the worst and you have prepared yourself for that, and the
yeah.
situation doesn't go to that worst, you will be able to take control of the situation.
Yeah.
That's a step
Brilliant.
three. And step four, I'll say start preparation, and that's most important. So once you're clear with the challenges, and once you're proactive and you know what is the plan now, step three, start becoming proactive. So, for example, maybe someone is saying that there is a huge cash flow challenge in the coming short term. Now, for
And
that, that you need to get some client who can pay you good cash. So you need to have your discount philosophies ready, or your discount schemes ready, and you need to call to the clients who can pay you fast. You need to call to the clients who have a good cash flow. So if you will prepare and if you will call them before lockdown, so
yeah.
after lockdown, you know exactly the people you need to meet to get the business. So
Yeah.
that will help you to take control of the situation.
Good. Acha, now, uh, because we're going to be calling a lot of people now, uh, I feel that you and I have been talking to a lot of business owners in particular, because you're a coach. I'm also a coach in different ways. Do me a favor and tell me कि लोगों का आजकल state of mind क्या है according to you, and can you categorize
Okay.
people by the states of mind that you're dealing with?
See, I'll tell you, so first of all, that's not only about the business people right now. I talked with people who are doing jobs and who are into the business.
And
So any person from any life, right now there are three states of mind.
yeah,
First state of mind is a distracted mind. Now, some people are happy, because they never got a chance to see all the seasons of Game of Thrones. So
yeah,
I don't know how many seasons are there, maybe five, six, seven,
and
5, 7 hours of a season. So they are, utilizing that time well.
yeah,
So that's the first state of mind, distracted. And the
okay,
second state of mind is negative. there are people who are thinking too much inside the mind, and they are worried about the business, they are worried about their job. So second is negative, and the third is focus. Now these are the people who are smart one. They
हाँ जी.
understand that they need to focus on the things which is there in their hand, and that is time. So they utilize the time to sharpening their skills, to getting in touch with people, to building the
Yeah.
relationship, to make strong relationship with their spouses, with their kids. So they are utilizing their time well.
So it's the distracted that is worrying me most, by the way, because negativity, though it's
Okay.
natural, focus is wow. But any advice you have for people that are distracted? Yeah, how do we snap them out of this?
Okay, so I'll give you some very clear and very simple. And when I'm
हाँ जी.
saying it's simple, it does not mean that it's easy. It will look as
Okay.
simple to you, but if you will track the data, I track the data of each and every client who works with me, whether they are following the habit or they are
हाँ जी.
not following the habit. So I'm telling you a habit which is the most simplest of the habit,
हाँ जी.
but if people will follow it, they will have a grip on the situation. If they will not follow it, they cannot have a grip on the situation. So
Yes.
the habit is that you need to switch off the phone before sleeping.
Okay.
You need to make sure that your phone is switched off and it is away from you. So just switch off the phone, keep it away from you, and for waking up, use someone else's phone, and or use
Okay.
an alarm watch if possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and the second thing which you need to make sure is that you will not switch on your phone in the morning till the time you are not clear that what you want out from your day. And
Brilliant.
that's the first important habit which you need to do, because if in the morning you are not clear how you will
Yeah.
utilize the day, you will end up wasting your day. You will end up utilizing it in the season or cereals or maybe other things. So
Yes.
that's the first habit. And second habit is that try not to switch off your phone till afternoon. See, from a morning when you wake up till 12 or till 2, your willpower is high. You have a more
Yes.
self-control, so you can do a work which is more productive and which is more useful. So
Yes.
utilize that time in doing the important work. And if you will start doing it, you will fall in love with the productivity and you will fall in love with yourself.
I think I'm falling in love with you because I'll tell you, I'm as guilty as anybody else, no matter how much focus I have in life. I'm as guilty as anybody else that I go to sleep with my phone and I wake up with my phone. And
Oh, that's
while you were talking, I beg your pardon, my mind was somewhere else. I was actually thinking the amount of time and opportunity I could gain if I just did not look at my phone as the last thing I did and only looked at my phone when I was ready to get into work after I had my day organized, my priorities organized. क्योंकि ये phone after all is a distraction, जो मर्जी कह लो. I mean, one thing on the WhatsApp and we are off of our game. And कभी कभी आधा घंटा लग जाता है just to get back on track. And I think if those WhatsApps and those things don't prime our mind in the morning, what we are going to do is we're going to be more focused on the things that are actually taking us ahead, our goals and our actionables that we one day thought कि ये चीजें मुझे करनी चाहिए. Because it's those the phone as soon as it primes our mind, then होता क्या है कि the mind always goes to the recently dominant thought. And if the recently dominant thought is, oh, ये आग बुझानी है, ये आग बुझानी है, oh, this person is mad at me, this person is asking me कि इसका number दे दो, ये करो, वो करो. If I look back for the last 3 months, had I not jumped at responding to those WhatsApps, I would have been no worse off. Probably I would have been a
okay.
thousand times better off. So thank you for that. I'm going to
I'll give you a
hold.
small, statistics on it. You will love it. So I've done an
Please.
audit of more than 320 plus business owners, and you won't believe
Hanji.
that 8.7 out of 10 people use their phone first thing in the morning.
I'm in that 8.7 for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So now I'm going to ask you maybe one or two more questions, but now I want our audience to start pouring in the questions. We've had a lot of questions that have been coming up. I'm going to start throwing some of them on the screen, and I want you to do a rapid fire with us. Are you ready, Gaurav?
Yeah, I'm ready with that.
Okay, good. Okay, so Suman ji is asking us that do we need to re-engineer our preparation from time to time, and how do we prepare for these tough situations?
So thank you for, Sumanji for asking such a wonderful question. And she is an amazing coach. I know her personally. And the question is that do we need to re-engineer preparation for time to time? The answer is definitely. See, See, and I'll also say something very powerful. If you will prepare in an old way, in a new situation, you will not get a result.
Yeah.
Because when a situation is changing, when a situation is new, you need to have a new ways. So once you will come with the new ways in a new situation, then only you can get the grip in the situation.
Yes.
So at this point of time, it is very important. No matter whether you are a businessman, you are a student, or you are on a job, that you spend time with yourself and you understand it how the new scenario is working and what is the need of this new
Yes.
scenario. And if you will focus on that need and if you will master that need, you will get a result. But if you will not master that need, you will suffer. That's for sure.
Okay, good. Now we have another question here. This is from Gurpreet Singh Pasricha. He's saying that in his experience, it'll not be easy for us to organize things like switching on and switching off after the lockdown, to reorganize, and things will take time to come back on track. Now, in your opinion, do you feel कि अगर हम जो habits अभी बना लें after the lockdown, do you think they will continue or not?
See, I'll tell you, Gurraj, there will be some habits which you will be able to continue, and there will be some habits which will come with a challenge,
Yes.
So I'll tell you, different circumstances. So, for example, we are talking specifically about switching off the phone in the night and do not switching it on in the morning.
Yeah.
So, one biggest challenge which come up with the people is that कि यार अगर रात को कोई emergency call आ गई तो या अगर मेरी factory से call आ गया, what I'll do? Then I'll be in a mess. That's the biggest challenge. So for that, you need to create a support structure for that. So for example, in your factory, you give a number to your family members. So you
Yeah.
know that, if someone will come, your family members will pick up the call. In a second situation, consider some emergency will happen and your friend will come. See, if a friend is someone who is very close to you, give the numbers of your family members. And if a friend is someone who is not close to you, I might be, sounding some negative, then, you are not God. Everyone should not be calling you for the help.
Yeah.
If he's close, he should have a number of the family members or he should have a number of someone from your team who pick up the call in the night so that, they can get in touch with you. So
That's नहीं तो घर का
create a
landline भी दे
structure.
दो
हाँ,
नहीं तो
तो
घर का
create a
landline भी दे
structure
सकते हैं
and
भी है दो call on that as well
हाँ,
so
घर का लैंडलाइन नंबर भी दे सकते हो if you have. Yeah, if you have. First thing and second thing, see, I'll tell you, you can keep the habits of only an half an hour. So, for example, someone is just waking up and is only deciding the to-dos list which he will follow throughout the day. That's a small habit which only takes 15-20 minutes, not more
yeah
than that, maximum 30 minutes.
no doubt
But following this habit will have an impact which can be as high as 300% or 400% on the
yes
productivity.
yes
And this is something which we can even maintain after lockdown. So some habits you can maintain after lockdown and some habits you cannot maintain.
Wonderful. So, to our viewers, as I told you, that the bonus tip that Gaurav is going to give at the very end is going to be the one that is going to be the most profound. And this was the most profound for me. Gaurav, so we have time for just one more question. I'm going to throw it up on the screen. Now, we have a question from Rishi Bhatnagar. How do we avoid the during day distractions during the Corona time, especially when we have kids? Because how do you face productivity in the face of kids, and how do you have productivity with habits that just don't force you to work late at night?
Okay.
तो बच्चों के साथ कैसे
So,
मैनेज?
Gulraj, it depends on a lot of things. First, I need to know that what is the age of your kid.
Let's say
Okay,
under
so I'll
12,
take the
under
two
10.
scenarios. अंडर नहीं सो अंडर 12 में ना एक को 1 साल के अंडर वाले भी आ जाते हैं उनके साथ डील करना थोड़ा ज्यादा
So
चैलेंज
let's
है
say the bulk of them would probably be 3 to 10. Okay, let's just
हाँ 3 to 10
go that.
सी जो 3 से 10 साल का बच्चा होता है ना आप उसे ना थोड़ा सा ना डांट सकते हो थोड़ा सा ना उसे कंट्रोल कर सकते हो तो देखो पहली चीज आई से यू दैट स्पेंड टाइम विद द किड दिस इज द बेस्ट टाइम टू स्पेंड टाइम विद द किड डोंट ट्राई टू डिमीन योर किड कि यार मतलब ये तो पीछे बड़ा रहता है शोर मत बजाता है तंग मत करता है बिकॉज ही आल्सो नीड टू एंगेज हिमसेल्फ and you being a father or a mother the child will definitely come to you. So what you need to do right now while your kids at home, you need to communicate with them. And the first point is that communication is very important.
Yeah.
And do kids listen? Believe me, I believe kids are more intelligent than adults, whether they are 5 years or 6 years old.
See.
You communicate with them. See, after, say, for example, after 4 p.m. or after 3 p.m., I'll be available for you. Or
Yeah.
this 3 hours, all yours, I'll not touch my phone. But in the morning, you need to give me a time, say from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Communicate that with kid And I
Yes.
believe at that moment now your kid will not create a mess because I believe kids are intelligent. So
Excellent.
communicating with the kids right now is more important than demeaning the kids.
Excellent. Now, these are all very interesting questions from our viewers. Thank you very much, everybody, for your excellent questions. Now, Gaurav, a big thank you to you and a big thank you for being a part of our program. It was so wonderful that you took out your time to come online with us. Now, if the viewers want to get more of you, Gaurav, how can they reach you?
Gulraj, they can, reach on my email ID that is coach@goyavarodacoach.com,
Okay,
and that's the best way to reach me.
very good. Now, do you have a website as well?
Yeah, I have a website www.goyavarodacoach.com, and for the event website, you can also visit www.focusinbusiness.com.
Okay, so I think this will be the easiest. Coach at gauravarodacoach.com. And the
.com.
website is the same, www.gauravarodacoach.com. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Gaurav, once again for being with us.
Thank you, Gulraj.
Now, it's been such a pleasure to have you. Seekh Talks is made possible by Samir Singh and the Sikh Chamber of Commerce. We are being streamed live at three Facebook pages, sorry, nowadays, and two YouTube channels. Now, if you enjoyed today's talk, please do give us a thumbs up and do write a comment. Now, if you love today's talk, do subscribe to the channels or the page, and this way you'll get notified the next time we go live. And speaking of next time, join me tomorrow at 4 p.m. sharp when we go live with the one and the only Shirish Gupta. Now, Shirish Gupta is a life coach and he concentrates mostly in the age category of 18 to 25. He believes that your success is 80% mindset and 20% mechanics. So if you have youngsters at home, particularly at the pre-university age or the high school age, all the way up to 25, they must listen to tomorrow's talk because he'll be telling us some wonderful insights and tips on how to just get up, go and create massive action. Once again, thank you for tuning in, everybody. I'm Gulraj Singh, and I'm going to see you
And
tomorrow.
thank you, Gulraj.
Thank you. I'll see you guys tomorrow at the same place at the same time.